I'll make this relatively short. Gender, as compared to sex, can be defined in a gazillion ways, and I don't really care to dig too deep into that. What I'll address is what does and does not constitute a meaningful distinction to me. So here's just another perspective for you. When we, as social creatures, use terms to define a special category of human beings, what we are doing, apart from naming, is defining boundaries. This is not to say that our conceptual boundaries are anything well-formed or rigid. Not really, but the level of vagueness depends on what it is we are using to identify said category and what our aim is. A man and a woman, let's say. This binary comes from our obvious biological dimorphism. And while rare cases of rare constitutions are known to occur, those are usually not salient enough to merit their own categories. Thus one might imagine a broad hermaphrodite category. Please don't take this designation too seriously. Universally, the male and the female sex are ascribed different functions, roles, and natural proclivities, thus giving us social constructs of man and woman. This is something we could call gender to differentiate between the biological reality on the ground and its conceptualization and extension into the sphere of social functioning. This is how we link what it means to be a male and a female physiologically to what it means to be a man and a woman as a human in a society. Actually, when we ask, what does it mean to be a man, a woman, I should like to say it is the latter we most often refer to. So while the male and female sex has stayed what it is biologically, anthropologically, changes of opinion and practice over time is the norm, with different cultures differing considerably in what is seen as manly and what is seen as womanly. Can it be that a culture could have more than two genders in this case? Well, yes, of course. Take the special category of eunuchs who, though born male, were deprived of parts of their bodily manhood. In the ancient world, they would be treated as a separate thing with their own role and station. As a matter of fact, consider the gospel metaphor for the ideal state of those who want to enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 19:11. For there are eunuchs who are born that way, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs by others. And there are those who choose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. The one who can accept this should accept it. Well, basically a recommendation for celibacy, right? A Christian gender, I suppose. Now, how is it different from the lone ray of gender self-identification some people subscribe to? Quite simply, it's a group designation, a category. We may construe ourselves to be anything we want to, roleplay anything we want to, and it's fine, but we still probably vaguely fall under one of the broader categories. These broader categories are descriptive and useful. The endless fracturing into self-assigned genders is not. Apart from indicating you are part of a group who cares about it. So a gender-focused gender, I suppose. Now that we are done with genders, let me tell you a thing or two about pronouns. I do not mind any pronouns appearing, but we cannot expect people adjusting their lingual behavior to a list of arbitrary neologisms. Moreover, granted those are not even well established. Thus, nonce words. Again, the problem with potentially unbounded lists is that they lack practicality. If a new unit makes it into the language and gives a new perspective, valued by the user thereof, it shall persist. The new pronouns cannot be much different from the old ones in this respect. We do not have 10 variants of the male and the female gendered pronoun. He and she have a meaningful denotation, and animate, for the most part, as English has very little left of its former Germanic grammatical gender, thing of respectively male and female gender. When used in context, they point to a contextually bounded entity, this or that person, maybe a more general referent. The random pronouns some people conjure up for personal use and assign to themselves or others quite often fail to escape their contextual niche and become useful for the broader group. Consequently, they shall fail to become relevant in the language. The ones which do have a clear denotation, and that cannot be too many, have a chance of becoming normative if enough speakers come to use them. So here it is, my opinion on what kind of approach to defining genders would make sense, and why generating too much nuance will fail in natural languages. Have a nice day.